Welcome back to Castlevania Lords of Shadow. So now we start officially Chapter 2 with its set of level.
We part ways, he and I. My instincts tell me he is filled with hope, a hope that will drive him ever onwards. Good. Perhaps he is the one.
He is the chosen one.
Who can
Maybe
deliver
he
us
can
from
help me
all
solve the
evil.
mystery of the Nexus.
Perhaps. I wonder
Maybe
what
he
went through his
maybe
mind
he can
when
help
he
me
saw
form
her
the
there,
form a
his
school
beloved.
of mutant.
Did he see
Also,
his dreams,
full of hope,
or did he
Lizzie.
see his
So he doesn't run
future
into a
blown
weird
away
bear
like
thing.
leaves on the wind? I spy him as he heads out towards the reaches of Pan's influence. A forest lies to the east
What?
that
Pan had
leads
an
to the
influence
land
that
of the
because of its
Lycans,
box office, has
the
it?
ruin of an ancient civilization.
No, Lives.
Forgotten and decaying. Once a proud
Like we
testament to
saw in
man's
the lore
ingenuity
titled
and
The
vision,
Titan, yeah, so
it
this
has
is
now
part
been
of this
conquered by
apparently
nature.
Atlantis-esque
She
civilization
claims all
lived
things for
before
her.
apparently Greece and Rome and got destroyed. But let's check in the meantime Zobek. In the Chronicles of Gabrel are to be believed, Zobek is one of their longest-serving warriors. The list of heroic deeds attributed to him is as impressive as his vast knowledge of the art of war. Despite his age, he can deploy mighty fighting skills. His weapon of choice is a simple longsword, which he handles with great skill. Unusually, he likes to wear the old-fashioned uniforms of the Brotherhood of Light, that according to him, was inherited from one of his ancestors, one of the founding members of the Order.
Oh,
So again,
boy.
this guy is a big news.
So,
So it's a good thing he's on our side.
ATO, you want to talk about the founding members just yet?
No, again, the game decides to do, when
Gabriel,
it's
what are you
appropriate,
doing?
so I will do that accordingly. Also, if I recall correctly, Dej, a trivia for you. I don't think it's this one immediately, but around this area we started hearing a particular theme, which is an actual remix of the... Oh, sorry, scroll. Whips.
My comrade in arms has ventured onwards while I rest here a while. The heat of the sun is relentless, and my wound plagues me still. I gave him my life gem in the hope that he find provisions before nightfall, for our stocks run low. He is a good lad, strong and eager, yet he needs to learn patience in combat if he is to survive. That's what I should have learned, to be honest.
But let's just say that this is another hint towards another corpse that has a live gem. But I was about to say that there is a particular music track that you might hear soon enough, if not already, which is an actual remix of the waterfall theme from Super Castlevania 4.
You know, a lot of
I haven't
these,
gotten up to that part yet, unfortunately.
a lot of these letters just come off as the people basically admitting, "Oh God, I've been so stupid."
Well, regret before passing away, it's a common thing. The second game will kind of lampshades a bit the classic trope about the audio recording before dying, kind of thing in a sense on how and why these characters are managing to write their last will despite being mortally wounded. So there is that.
Like
Anyway.
if this were real life, those audio recordings are probably going to something like this. Ah, my stomach! Ah!
Anyway, the medallion that Zobek has gave you allows, when you perform normal combat, to release particular orbs that you can absorb by pressing the corresponding analog stick. In this case, if you press L3, tied to the light magic. Then you can turn it into it with L1, and you grow the blue aura, and all of your attacks will instead regenerate your health. You will not produce more orbs when in that state, so there is a bit of balance, and this is what constitutes one of the main meat and potatoes of the combat of the game, which is kind of different compared to God of War. You do have, as you've seen in previous parts, the health pools that you can actually, gain back health from. But you can use this if you are in a pinch to recover a bit of extra health. Your damage is not even reduced as a result. You still deal normal type of damage. You just gain health, back normally, and later on you will get another type of magic, that will spice things up. So there is a bit of depth to the combat. It's a classic example of simple to learn but hard to master. Because the one thing that's also important is that the moment you get hit, actually no, that's for a perk that will show up later. But essentially, one gimmick that gets introduced soon enough is that the moment you get hit, your gained orbs will disappear quickly, meaning that it incentivizes you to, not to dodge correctly or parry the attacks, which is something that you can do for most attacks, like parrying counterattack. And similar to stuff like Platinum Games title, when the enemies are about to launch an attack that is unavoidable, they will actually flash a light, and you actually get an audio cue to do that and to perform the dodge roll. Which again, I find it baffling that instead of using just the right analog stick like God of War, you have to hold L2 when move the left analog stick. It's a bit counterintuitive. And it's not even like a case of, oh, you're using the right analog stick for something else. Not really. It's just sitting there doing nothing most of the time. This is like if it's like those old NES games where you do not use like the P button, but all the weird combinations are done by pressing select. Like, anyway, more branching paths. Again, any collectibles been missing, I will just get it back during the off-screen, during my catching up thing. Again, the game is relatively beatable in normal mode, despite the potential difficulty spike, even if you don't get all the upgrades. Again, it carries elements from the Metroidvania, titles. Again, like Symphony of the Night, although in a bit more similar case to Metroid in this case, where you get stuff like upgrades like the higher quantity of projectiles that you can carry, similar to Samus missiles and super missiles and bombs. But you still do get the traditional, health and magic upgrades. As you can see already right now, there's a lot to fill in for the maximum capacity of the bar. There you go.
Now, are there other weapons that you get besides the whip, or no?
No, okay. The only, like I said, the variety comes from the sub-weapons, again, which are the daggers, but later on you will get classic stuff from the franchise, like say the Holy Water, for example. And later games will also add a bit of their own to showcase a bit more variety. So in a sense, all the classic type of weapons, side weapons that are from the classic series, are actually there. All right, next scroll, Jova.
All right then. God is punishing us for our sins. The world is in chaos and we will die soon. Trapped in limbo between heaven and earth. No chance of redemption. No means of escape. I am badly wounded, and the Lycans can smell the blood. They're hunting me. My fate is imminent. Dear Lord, forgive me. Cardinal Volpe sends us all to our deaths. And for what? I and my fellow warriors lie broken and lost by the wayside. Damn him and his futile quest. He and the elders should also be suffering for their sins.
And Cardinal Volpe is probably saying,
props for the...
And Cardinal Volpe is probably saying to, because he's a huge dude, he'd probably be saying to him, well, if you hadn't exerted all your energy writing this stupid letter, you'd be alive right now, wouldn't you?
Also, German props for actually using the correct pronunciation. But to be fair, there's also a bit of an Easter egg. Volpe is the Italian, but also tied to some other Neo-Latin languages, word for fox. Like the fox unit. Again, Kojima was not a writer of this game, but he was actually a producer. But his influence is felt in a couple of places that it's admittable. Some of the humor and there are particular kind of twists feel straight up from one of these Metal Gear Solid titles.
Oh yeah. Kojima is pretty much the Miyamoto. Also, he was the Miyamoto of Konami, where even stuff that he wasn't directly related in, you could feel his influence.
Also, go on, sorry.
At one point, he actually was the head of Konami's entire...
Remember, he created a couple of other extra franchises like Boktai and Zone of the Enders.
Also, that's the
Zone of the Enders. Was that
there was a Game Boy Advance version, but this is still for another time. Go on.
Yes, Major?
That's actually what Stick of Truth does. It parodies the audio log trope by having the guy on the ship in Stick of Truth going, and the more I keep trying to explain this, the more audio logs I find. Why did he even bother making them if they were in such peril? So
yeah. It's a pretty neat type of deconstruction of that, or at least lamp shading. But also, for an extra Easter egg, kind of like, that I will showcase in the final part, the one custom unlockable that you can get from this game is the solid eye from MGS4. Gabriel can actually have it. It's only a cosmetic thing. It does not actually nothing in gameplay-wise, but it's still a neat thing to see.
So basically, to what that guy from the previous letter Joe just read, but was basically saying was, "Tell me, God, why are you punishing me?"
Kinda. Alright, time for the upgrade that I just mentioned. A belt. A focus scroll is called, but it's more like a belt. The combat focus is an ancient technique from the Brotherhood of Light. Once fully focused, the capable warrior can extract neutral element orbs from his enemies after a successful hit. The combat pulse meter is filled when you fight well, use various attacks and avoid being hit. Lack of combat will slowly decrease the meter, magic use will pause it. So essentially, don't get hit, dipshit. The focus bar is shown at the bottom, there you go. Essentially, this function is a mini tutorial. Try to not get hit, which against this kind of enemy is pretty easy. There you go. And once it's full, hitting more the enemy will start producing actually the neutral element orbs. So again, this incentivizes good playing and you dodging attacks instead of just tanking it and tanking them over. Especially because refilling your magic meter aside from this is not something that you can do on a regular basis. The good thing about it though is that if you have a keen eye, paying attention to it, the magic meter can actually overflow temporarily if you absorb enough neutral elemental orbs. So if you strategize correctly, you can overflow when wasted all the overflow stuff in a particular charge, and so your actual main meter does not get damaged as a result. Again, there is room also for experimentation, and even on harder difficulties, it allows you to be creative with what you do. But at its core, it's still, incentivizing you to not get hit.
Find a way to blow up this barrier, shit.
Yeah, essentially grab the grenades by the goblins and toss them. Thankfully, the game will be generous and respawn constantly goblins until you actually destroy it. After it's dead, they will stop coming, so it's just a matter of the slaying whatever's rest that's remaining. One thing that I did mention, I think, is still in part 1, but one thing that this game has a bit over God of War in terms of the combat is a slight pause for each attack that you do, in the sense that you feel every hit that Gabriel is doing, pam, pam, pam. It's kind of like a Cloud with the Buster Sword in Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's immensely satisfying to lay the beat down in a particular manner. In case you're wondering, Pedro, yes, the tree that we are circumnavigating now is an actual reference to the Deku tree from a period of time.
Are we sure it's not just one of those things because, oh, it's a tree in a video game?
Alright, next scroll, Deji.
I think he's burped.
You, Pedro, man, go ahead.
The great Deku was once the largest and most gorgeous tree in the forest. It was so tall that its canopy could be seen from many miles away. Some people even believed that it was alive, that it was magical power to protect the forest from the attacks of dark creatures. I don't know if the legends were real, but the truth is that the Dark Lords maybe.
Of course, again, Granted Ocarina of Time reference.
The great Deku, wow, My Hero Academia and the Dark Rending of the Fall. Not only was the world destroyed, but it regressed back to ye old times before it was destroyed.
And yes, we conclude the level by kind of jumping inside it.
Well, still more subtle than Near Replicant's Zelda references.
Mm-hmm. Well, in general, not just that. Automata even has a Metal Slug reference of all things. There we go. I didn't mention it before, but I also really appreciate the jingle that you get after completing each chapter. It's so triumphant. Again, even after a particular harsh chapter, or even if you received like a bad news story-wise, you still get this sense of accomplishment after beating the chapter. Again, the presentation alone can actually sell you this game. It's not like I think it could have still worked even if it didn't look and sounded like this, but in the context actually does help. Okay, Java, you're probably not ready for this bit.
He will need it now. Goblins
There
are
are
one thing,
worse
but
things
there are
that
other
lives
creatures
other
in the
than
dark
goblins and
places of the
dwarves.
world.
What,
Creatures
spiders?
who know nothing of his plight, but
Big
fight for
spiders.
very survival.
Well, yeah, I
Many
mean, that's
fallen
not
brothers are
entirely new to
testament this.
Castlevania.
Indeed, their bleached bones adorned the tortuous
And again, a Lord of the
tunnels
Rings
this
influence.
godforsaken place. He
Oh,
runs
goody!
ever
I wonder
onward
if, to
into
your
peril.
delight, they'll look as
I
lovely
wonder
as
who
the
prey
spiders
is,
in the
and
Hobbit
who is the
trilogy.
hunted. Perhaps when the time comes,
They are a bit
these
more
creatures will know
manageable, and
fear
to be fair,
as
you
they
can
look
beat the
into
shit out
eye
of them.
their
That's an
quarry.
incentive
Go,
to,
my friend,
retaliate
save
against
them
your
now.
fear.
Uh-huh.
And yes, again, our Zelda reference, much like
Yep,
the
spiders
Deku
in the
tree,
tree.
it's rotten and spiders are crawling inside it.
Man, so we have to. It's too late to save this tree then, huh?
Yep.
Tragic.
But sadly, Dej, we're not gonna get even a seed from it, so
It's
Or
like
we
we
can just-
because Belmont died just then.
potentially.
No,
Also,
we'll do what Link did in the Zelda manga, where he just carves out the Great Deku Tree's corpse and makes the shield himself from it.
that's
Yeah.
metal. Like,
The Zelda
Hello
manga is
there.
incredibly dark.
that's. Please stay away.
Okay, by dark, you mean as dark as the Pokemon manga, or it's its own different?
Gabriel!
Behind you.
There's a Stoder.
Yes, go away.
Dark
It's also
is that the Pikmin is dark. When you basically when you think too hard about it.
if I recall correctly, like the Happy Mask salesman in the actual manga version of Majora's Mask is actually more sinister, even more so than in the actual video game.
Let's just say, Teo, there are stuff that happens in the Zelda manga that Miyamoto would never allow in the games.
But even in the Pokemon ones, like I know everyone wants to reference that panel where Arbok gets slashed into by
Let me
Charmander.
explain that panel. It's revealed that the Arbok is still alive later on. It just grew its body
Tail
back.
back.
Oh, okay.
People
Yes.
conveniently forget to mention that part.
Well,
It's a classic out of context panel.
also, goodness, this spider can take a lot of punishment.
Also the poison attack, but let me read in the meantime its entry if I recall correctly. Yes, I'm about to.
Well, Teo,
Giant spider. These monsters are the largest type of known arachnids and they're much more aggressive than any normal-sized variety of spider. Giant spiders can be found in almost
Congratulations.
any environment, like Australia, but they usually prefer dark, soggy places such as old forests and grottos. Like their smaller counterparts, giant spiders can weave webs of sticky silk that they use to trap their prey before eating them. In fact, spider silk is extremely strong and can even be used to make rope of incredible durability. The giant spider population has shrunk in recent years due to mankind's encroachment on their natural habitat.
oh,
The horror.
boo-hoo,
Spooky.
the giant killer spiders don't have places to live.
Light gem medallion. Maybe Rogue Light carry these magical discs, and they allow the user to transform neutral elemental orbs into power light magic. Magical gems can be inserted into the empty slot, and when all 5 slots are filled with blue gems, the light magic container's capacity is increased. This one was given to Gabriel by Zobek in the first time they met, in case you forgot the cutscene dipshit.
Now, if I recall correctly, the tree is essentially the only area where you have to worry about giant spiders in this game.
Oh, no. They are present until the 2/3 in the game. The enemy variety is relatively big, actually, but some of them do persist for most of the game, actually. But we are still well integrated. It's not like a case of, oh, this enemy feels out of place in this particular area.
Down with
No,
you.
that's that's the thing too. Like that's one of the big reasons. One of the big reasons why I would love for Koizumi to be creatively involved in a Zelda game again, because I would love to see what more he can accomplish. What he did in Link's Awakening in Majora's Mask.
You know what we need for giant spiders, Tio?
What?
The holy newspaper. A holy rolled up newspaper. That'll teach him.
Okay, that's one way, Jova, but in my country prefer to use brooms.
So the holy newspaper broom.
Sure, wrap the newspaper around the broom.
With the
Anyways,
combined might of swatting, you will smite those spiders.
Leave them alone.
No!
Sure. Look, sure. Regular spiders, I get. They get rid of insects and annoying pests. Giant spiders that want to eat and kill us are just dicks.
Like, we have to forget, Shiri, that the only reason some animals are just cute and do nothing to us is because of size difference. If they actually were enough, like, they would probably just not think too much before actually
Or
trying
if
to
they
eat
were
us.
Australian, I
Hell.
guess.
Yes, that too.
Hell.
Remember, Australian apparently has spiders with elf bars.
Jesus, like hell.
Go ahead.
Some scientists argue that if they had the equipment necessary, ants would destroy the world with how militaristic they can be. Like,
I can believe that.
Yeah, pretty much. But let me talk a bit quickly about the gimmick of a spider, their poison. If you get poison, your elf bar will start glowing on a purple kind of way. However, if you actually switch back to light magic, you will be instantly healed. So fighting against spiders is always recommended to wait and conserve your magic. And as you have seen, parrying and countering an attack that's coming towards you also fills your focus meter, fast enough. Alright, Dej, this next one is for you.
Oi! Although they are big, spiders are surprisingly quick and agile. I have heard a skilled warrior may even tame one to a certain degree if it tries enough, and it rides like a warthog. I have also heard that their webs can be used to weave bridges strong enough to bear the weight of a grown man. Incredible! Perhaps I am losing my wits. Stuck in this infernal place. I must be crazy to believe such a thing.
No.
If only someone had told me before.
No. By all means, try and ride the giant spiders. I'm sure they will perfectly be fine with
Yeah,
that.
tame it.
Not gonna lie, you wouldn't have any bullies to worry about if you had a giant pet spider.
No.
Also,
So
there you go.
Have to worry about the government trying to take it out.
Also, much like in God of War, you get these sequences where Gabriel has to, walk tippy-toeing on a predicament type of, passage. Thankfully, you do not have the 6 axis, controlling your balance. So there, thank God for that.
Hold the R2 button.
Also, if you had a giant spider as a friend, the newspaper will say that it's a menace to society.
Of course. This is an area that requires a
it's
particular
causing
upgrade. We'll
property
come back to this here later.
I mean, to be fair, if it's causing property damage, then they have a point.
Well, I don't like newspapers, so I'm pretty sure the spider will like me.
Yes, but Bashir, you've forgotten. There is a force more powerful than newspapers that can take down the spider.
Rooms, like you said.
Oh no!
So, worse. Social media.
Of course. I forgot. I lost my train of thought. Sorry. Go on, Dad. Sorry.
You know, this background kind of reminds me of what was going on last year, where a whole bunch of monoliths kept appearing out of nowhere.
I guess.
It was just for an advertisement for a show on Netflix or something like that. It's like, well,
The third season of Dark, if I recall correctly.
I don't know. I was just like, I thought Monolith Soft was promoting the next Xenoblade game.
Nah.
I was like, oh.
Oh, there's another. I think it is a gem. Actually, no, it's another scroll. So, Pedro, this one might be for you. Why not?
Okay. Everywhere I run, there is death and decay. God has deserted us. Oh, so he has deserted me. I have abandoned my quest. It is hopeless. I don't want to die. I don't want my fellow brothers fallen by the wayside. Decided to be a resource for some other adventure. And I want to be that.
You'll be fine.
No
You'll be
one likes a
fine.
whiner.
So I was right,
All
yeah.
right, Paige. I mean, all right, Tia. Let's see you do this.
I'm mostly just jesting. Like Deji, you're talking with someone who enjoys Evangelion despite Shinji bitching every 2 seconds.
Is there a reason for that?
Okay, it's a long story that I want to reserve for actually, believe it or not, our Xenogears run, but I do believe there is some merit to showcase actual psychological damage.
Like he's a kid
Yeah,
that
that
has to
too.
deal through this? Yeah. No, duh, a kid is going to come off as whiny for quote-unquote whiny.
This being
for this.
said, Dej, I can also see when someone comes across it saying that it might not be the most compelling thing to narrate upon.
That's the
Mind you,
argument people used to defend Tidus in Final Fantasy X. Like,
mind you, well, to be fair, Tidus is also kind of stupid. Shinji at least bothers to learn stuff.
Are we talking about the Tidus laugh?
No, that's just a meme, even in general.
it goes beyond that.
He does have a
I mean-
point, though, that a lot of people did judge Tidus just based off of that laughing scene.
It's the never live it down moment. But no,
There's a
again,
story reason for that laugh. It's meant to be.
It is, but more on that.
it's meant to essentially deflate the kind of stress that Yuna was having. I get the idea. Alright, I think this one is actually a gem. No, it's another scroll. Dweebs.
I have been following the trail of Ronaldo Gandolfi, famed alchemist and fellow of the Brotherhood of Light. I don't know what drove him to leave the Order or indeed why he disappeared into the wilderness, but we can certainly use his skills in this dark time, that's for sure. It is said he created many magical weapons and relics and that he hides them in hard-to-find places where only the most committed and deserving may stumble.
And he said when he put them in the castle of
Yeah, speaking of that, so I was right about previously too. God is indeed punishing.
No,
me.
no, Peytos.
That's
That's just the mad rantings of a character who's terrified.
that he's dying.
Right. What's the name of Trevor's wife from Castlevania for?
Oof,
His wife.
Sypha
That's what she says in the Netflix show. Like, see, God hates me, and that became a meme.
To be fair,
I'll just post that clip right now.
I still actually have to see season 4, mind you. I've been a bit busy, but I'm definitely curious. And people who I know who actually been following the show since season 1 do tell me that it still ends on a good note in terms of quality, without spoiling it. So again, I'll just see for myself. But again, I'm still curious to see what we're gonna do next on that front. Because I haven't seen yet the Dragon's Dogma TV series. They told me that it's just there. Nothing too spectacular, but nothing too sacrilegious either.
Oh yeah, you just reminded me that Dragon's Dogma has a series.
It's probably it came out last year, and it was like a sleep release on Netflix, which is kind of a shame, to be honest. Especially considering it has the same kind of animation and quality of the Castlevania series. And again, it's nice to see this kind of video game adaptation that try to care a bit more in what we're doing. There you go. And you have to also keep in mind for the Castlevania animated adaptation that Konami had all the the last saying in the matter for everything. So for the better or the worse, they did approve all of it. So it's also pretty interesting to see. Then greenlighting this kind of show actually went in a bit of a different direction in terms of writing and adapting from the source material. But anyway, let's collect our next upgrade for the whip.
Here you go.
Again, extreme upgrading sequencing action.
Chris, he gets the weapon back, but it's in pieces because there's a trap.
That will be cute. But in this case, we get a new type of chain, this time with spikes.
Spike!
Ronaldo Gandolfi built
No.
2 different chains for the combat cross, but this one was never approved by the Brotherhood for obvious reason. The elders thought that the spikes were too cruel for the holy nature of the weapon. However, instead of destroying it, the artisan hid the links in one of those mausoleum of order, believing that one day might be needed. With a spike chain, the combat cross can be used to saw through obstacles and to tame dangerous monsters by looping it around their necks. That's very charming.
Consider that even the Brotherhood thought it might be just a little bit
Just a
too
tad
cool.
too cruel. Anyway, before going on, let's test the in action of that obstacle we saw before. You have to heave ho, heave ho.
Oh!
There you go. Again, for a type of QTE, this is pretty neat, especially now it simulates the kind of movement that you're doing. My favorite kind of QTEs are the ones that actually do resemble more the action they're supposed to, portray. There we go. It wasn't for an extra gem. Now let's move on.
You mind if we take this gem from you, mate? Thank you.
I mean, you're not going to use it anyway, so... To be fair, that other knight was a bit, worried about, not just that, about after, but after he died, he would have been just looted by someone else, so...
No, Thierry, he's dead, he can't be worried.
Before dying,
Dwibs, like I said, just because you're dead doesn't mean your worries end there. In the Castlevania universe.
Oh, he don't have to worry about that himself, will he?
Anyway, let's get into the labyrinth entrance.
So he has found another of Gandolfi's upgrades. This was unforeseen, though it should prove useful in the challenges to come. The lost city of Agarthian.
Look, Vader, we're going to Agartha.
I wonder if you know what truly lies ahead for you, Gabriel. What God has in store for you. The land of the Lycans. This ruined city now belongs to their lord, and you can be sure he will not allow you to pass without.
Remember, that's kind of the plan, Louis.
But in order to bring her back, you need to defeat him, my friend. You need to crush him into the dust, like the worm that he is.
Okay, I get the hint. Don't worry.
What else is Patrick Stewart was doing around 2010 as well as this game?
2010. Well, to be fair, the Star Trek movies were over by this point. The Picard series, of course, was not gonna be for a long time anyway. So
that's that Picard series spin-off, and it.
I haven't seen it, so I cannot tell.
I've heard it's fine.
All right. It seems that the door is too reinforced even for normal goblin grenades. So we might need some extra help from a new enemy type. Shit! It's a boar! That's cute.
There were no films out in 2010.
Ow.
Bacon.
But there were episodes of Family Guy and American Dad, and he was in a television film of Macbeth where he played Macbeth. And surprisingly, I haven't electrocuted him twice upon saying that.
What about the roof on of where you are? Did it collapse yet?
No, it's fine.
Anyway, the important thing there is to pull away the goblin and then try to tame the boar. But the joke, Joe, is that saying the name is like a bad omen.
So
there we go.
To like a universe.
There you go, the war fog, there you go. All you need to do is essentially use it to charge in, literally. You don't even have to press a special button, just gain velocity, and you just ram straight into the door.
Beautiful.
Sadly, we cannot actually get bacon, Jova. Sorry.
That's okay. Besides, ribs are better.
And after you're done with the unit, you can press L2 and R2 at the same time to strangle it to death. Oh, Jesus.
You served your purpose well.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it is attacking us.
True, these beasts are actually ferocious, so...
It's like... It's like how people react to how James Bond treats certain people at times. Like if they
Hold on, I actually need to describe now instead the Warfog entry. Don't worry, I'll elevator. The genealogy of these monstrous boars has been kept secret among goblin tribes for centuries. It's a process that involves special breeding and feeding and large helpings of shamanistic magic. Warthogs are so scarce that having more than one of these mounts is something only a few goblin tribes can aspire to. Goblins don't only use them for riding to battle, but also to consume all the rubbish and leftover scraps of food, whilst helping to maintain a clear environment. See, they're helping doing their part.
How much do they clean?
I was just gonna say here though, there are those couple of scenes where Bond just smacks a woman around. But yeah, I haven't aged well at all. But if it's like those scenes where a woman was holding a gun at him and he was doing that, then it's a bit more justified in the case.
Well, yeah.
Alright, let me see if it's a scroll. Yes, Jova.
Okay then. There are Lycans ahead and warthogs behind. There is no respite for the wicked. I have decided to hide here until it is safe, for this place is teeming with the Dark Lord's minions, and I cannot seem to find a way into the city proper. My surroundings are difficult to navigate, requiring skills that clearly I do not possess. I am hungry and feeling like I am about to pass out.
I haven't eaten for days. Well, you don't have to worry about that now, mate, do you?
Posthumous.
In case you're wondering, also peasant. In case you're wondering, while in this game we remain kind of like anonymous, you only get just a night scroll thing. In the second game, they get a bit more cheeky and actually give these victims actual names, and we use that for some inside jokes.
You know, that'd be a good name for like for a game over screen actually. No more worries. Instead of game over, no more worries, because well, you're dead.
You're dead.
No more worries.
I don't remember any particular King's Quest that had the narrator saying to the protagonist, "Do not worry anymore."
It means no worries for the afterlife?
Yeah, it means no worries for the rest of your days, because you don't have any more days.
Dej.
I have been practicing my fighting skills and have discovered that if I block often, I can increase my focus. No shit, Sherlock. This is really starting to pay dividends because I am able to focus much quicker, which enables me to keep my flock.
Time to get fucked.
That's
It's
what,
like the ultimate warrior.
And that was the last thing he said when he forgot to block.
Well, it might be. Yes, Pedro.
So, Theo, where exactly would be a good time for the narrator in any King's Quest game to tell the player not to worry? Exactly.
Okay, I distinctly remember there was one instance, mind you, audience has been so many years anyway. There was one instance where, okay, I think when Graham gets trapped in the cave with because of his greed, potentially in King's Quest fight, if I recall correctly, the narrator says something like, "Cheer up, Graham. You can actually practice your tossing game in the meantime or something."
That's Finn. That's him being, sarcastic and condescending towards you. Like I felt like you meant genuine worry.
No. Like the entire point of a King's Quest narrator is to mock you when you die or something. So well, yeah, something among that.
I mean, the best I can think of is when in that same cave, actually, like if you take a look, if you use the look icon, the narrator will say something in a very apprehensive voice, so that's supposed to be your hint. So that's the closest we've ever come to that.
Okay, one neat idea when you use the chain for grappling, if you use the X button to actually prepare yourself in order to do a particular type of reverse jump. Again, another neat feature in order to distinguish a bit from God of War, which has a admittedly more simple way of climbing.
Lovely.
Alright, let's move the, speaking of which, classic mechanism. Take the lever and keep rotating. Oh shit. Yeah, I need to clean the room first.
How about you?
Foul creatures, I guess. No, to be fair, Giovanni, it's the second game that has the Castlevania Symphony of the Night references in terms of quotes. Not even kidding, they're a bit over everywhere and sometimes a bit out of place too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Though I don't recall mentioning.
I was about to mention the "Die monster, you do not belong in this world" line.
Yeah, that's Water Shadows.
Sorry, gotta go.
Which I guess, to be fair, by the time of Lord of Shadows 2
What is that? A new creature, maybe? Oh shit. There's always a bigger fish somewhere.
So.
I mean, at least it's not a spider.
Yeah,
True.
for the time being we have left him a bit behind. Dweebs, go ahead.
Each
Really,
creature is weak against a particular weapon.
Why not?
If one is clever, one can deduce what creature's weakness is and use it against them. I wasn't so clever, apparently. I'm going to take some notes to remind me. I lost them. A kind of bestiary that will tell me what I need to know about each monster and what I need to do to defeat it. Oh shit, I lost the notes. I sure hope I don't come across a monster.
I also lost the note telling me to not lose the note.
Damn it. I lost the note that reminded me to get set up for today. Oh god.
I'm out of sticky notes, fuck.
So, Dwibs, I take it you're actually a fan of giant spiders?
Well, I mean, I'm more a fan of them than giant man-eating beasts.
Found a huge spider in the garden today, was not happy about it.
Really?
I had a tiny spider on my roof.
I had a regular-sized daddy longlegs in my living room.
We get a lot of, like, a lot of variety of bugs around here because there's so many plants and they're well kept.
Okay, you wanna play? Let's play. But apparently the goblins are willing to,
Wait, that goblin who was running towards you just then in that cutscene, he could have stabbed you, but they never just ran back. Why?
It's not even that. Some goblins will sometimes litter bombs and trying to kamikaze run towards you for some reason. Again, they're used for comic relief more than anything. But yeah, the goblin seems to be very enjoying wasting my time by keeping the contraption that I need to use to escape this arena. So why not kill them?
Seriously, what's with all these death notes? It's like the people who are about to die were deliberately foreshadowing their own deaths.
Oh look, here's another note. Why did they always bother writing so many notes? Each one is more irrelevant and weird than the last.
There's not even a bulletin board here.
And here's a new enemy type, one that's much more dangerous, a fully grown type of Lycan.
We're just littering all these notes in this environment at this point.
That's for duty stuff.
It's like grenades.
There you go, let's try to grab him. Open wide again.
Camera's a little shaky.
Is to emphasize the
right
danger of
the
the situation.
mouth.
The Great Lycanthropy. Greater or pure-blood lycanthropies are those spawned from the Dark Lord himself. In these cases, where condition is not considered disease as the transformation process has been deliberately chosen. The endowment of lycanthropy, however, is not given to just anyone by the werewolf Dark Lord, and only a handful of his more loyal acolytes have received such a gift. The Dark Lord keeps these elite guards for special missions, and they are not only fearsome, but incredibly intelligent and formidable force in combat. Thankfully, your daggers work just as fine against them, so keep spamming projectiles.
I mean, their difficulty is only put as medium, so yeah, so much for that being a blessed power-up.
To be fair, they're clearly the most dangerous of the Lycan enemies.
Except for you-know-who.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make a Voldemort joke.
Sorry. There we go. Oh, really? See, the one time the ancient contraption actually does not work and doesn't manage to, open the door. How neat, I guess.
Well, that was the end of, that's the end of Mr. Belmont. I hope you enjoyed our really short playthrough of Castlevania Lords of Shadow.
Do you have a King's Quest quote for these dweebs?
I do.
Go ahead.
Those walls have a crush on you.
Well,
He said King's Quest, not Batman and Robin.
Well, actually, that's exactly the kind of death pun you would hear in a King's Quest game, so that works.
Alright,
They should be Deji.
Well, regardless, see you for the next part where we continue our journey to Agartha. Get it? See ya.
Funny.
See ya.
Ta-ta.
Yeah.